Welcome to a journey through 1975, a year that changed music forever. I'm going to share stories behind every single number one song that topped the charts. Some of these may surprise you, maybe even shock you. And trust me, after researching these hits, I discovered some facts that even die-hard music fans don't know. So let's get started. 1975 kicked off with Elton John's cover of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. While the Beatles' original was banned by the BBC for supposed drug references, Elton's version actually got John Lennon himself to emerge from his 5-year musical hiatus. Lennon even played guitar on the track under the pseudonym Dr. Winston O'Boogie. Barry Manilow's Mandy wasn't originally called Mandy at all. It was first recorded as Brandy by Scott English in 1971. Manilow changed the name to avoid confusion with Looking Glass's Brandy, You're a Fine Girl. The change worked.
But I sent you away, oh Mandy.
It became his first number one hit and launched his legendary career. The Carpenters took Please Mr. Postman to the top, making history as the second song ever to hit number one twice by different artists. The Marvelettes did it first in 1961. Karen Carpenter recorded her vocal track in just one take. A feat that left the producers speechless. Neil Sedaka's Laughter in the Rain marked an incredible comeback. After being written off as a has-been from the 50s, Sedaka reinvented himself and proved everyone wrong. Elton John believed in him so much that he signed Sedaka to his own label. The Ohio Players' Fire caused actual controversy when it was released. The song's steamy lyrics and album cover were banned in several cities. What many didn't know is that the fire truck sound effect in the intro was recorded from an actual emergency response to a fire at the recording studio. If you were around when these songs first hit the airwaves, I want to hear your stories. What memories did these tracks bring back? Share them in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this musical time machine, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more stories to come your way. Linda Ronstadt's You're No Good almost never happened. The song took 3 different recording attempts with 3 different producers before she nailed the version we know. The final take was actually intended just as a practice run, but that's the one that made history. The Average White Band's Pick Up the Pieces has a tragic backstory. Just as the song was climbing the charts, drummer Robbie McIntosh died at a party after unknowingly taking heroin he thought was cocaine. The band almost broke up, but decided to continue on in his honor. The Eagles' Best of My Love broke through after a DJ in Detroit started playing it without permission from the record label. The song wasn't even meant to be a single, but radio stations across the country soon followed suit, forcing the label to release it officially.
To give me the best of your love.
Olivia Newton-John's Have You Never Been Mellow caused quite a stir among country music purists who claimed she wasn't country enough. The controversy actually helped propel the song to number one on both the pop and country charts.
Have you never been alone?
Blackwater became the Doobie Brothers' first number one hit, despite the record label initially refusing to release it as a single. It took a small radio station in Virginia playing it non-stop before the label finally gave in. These songs defined an era, and so did you. Hit that subscribe button if you want more deep dives into music history. And here's a question: which of these artists did you see perform live? Share your concert experience in the comments. We'd love to hear about the ticket prices back then compared to today. Frankie Valli's My Eyes Adored You almost never saw the light of day. After being rejected by countless labels, Valli paid $4,000 out of his own pocket to buy the master recording.
I laid a hand on you, my Georgia.
Well, that investment paid off when it became a #1 hit. Lady Marmalade by LaBelle broke barriers with its provocative lyrics in French. Most radio listeners had no idea they were singing along to lyrics about a New Orleans prostitute. The song was actually banned in several conservative markets. Minnie Riperton's Lovin' You features that famous 5-octave high note, but few know she wrote it as a lullaby for her daughter Maya, who grew up to become actress Maya Rudolph. Listen closely and you can hear her singing Maya Maya at the end of the song. Elton John returned to #1 with Philadelphia Freedom, written for tennis star Billie Jean King. The song had nothing to do with Philadelphia or freedom. Elton just liked how the words sounded together.
Philadelphia freedom took me knee-high to a man.
B.J. Thomas took another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song to #1, despite thinking it was too long of a title. The producers actually tried to shorten it, but every alternative just made it sound ridiculous.
Another somebody done somebody wrong.
If these stories are bringing back memories, don't keep them to yourself. Share this video with your friends who lived through this incredible year of music. Click that like button if you're enjoying these behind-the-scenes stories, and subscribe for more music history deep dives. Tony Orlando and Dawn's He Don't Love You Like I Love You was actually a remake of a 1964 Jerry Butler song. The group had to add the parentheses to avoid title confusion with another song, a common theme in 1975.
He don't love you, girl, like
Earth, Wind and Fire's Shining Star was written in just one night at Caribou Ranch in Colorado. The high altitude of the studio, 8,600 feet, affected the band's vocals so much they had to adjust their singing style. Freddie Fender broke barriers with Before the Next Teardrop Falls, recording verses in both English and Spanish, a first for a #1 hit.
Before the next teardrop falls.
Radio stations initially resisted playing it, claiming audiences wouldn't accept a bilingual song. John Denver's Thank God I'm a Country Boy was recorded live at the Universal Amphitheater, though few people realize it. The crowd noise you hear is authentic, not dubbed in like many live recordings of that era.
Kids are all asleep, so we'll keep them kind of low. Thank God I'm a country boy.
America's Sister Goldenhair was produced by George Martin, famous for his work with the Beatles. The band was actually nervous about working with him, thinking he might try to make them sound too British.
Thinking about you, Sister Goldenhair surprise.
We're deep into 1975 now. How many of these songs did you have in your record collection? Tell us about your vinyl memories in the comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss out on our next musical journey. Captain and Tennille's Love Will Keep Us Together was keyboard driven because Toni Tennille refused to let her husband play his signature instrument, the mellotron, claiming it sounded too psychedelic. Wings Listen to What the Man Said featured a saxophone solo by Dave Mason, who Paul McCartney hired spontaneously after running into him in the studio hallway.
All we know, number one, that's what the man said.
Van McCoy created The Hustle after his business partner saw people doing the dance in New York's Adam's Apple nightclub. McCoy wrote and recorded the song in just one day. The Eagles scored another #1 with One of These Nights, but the song marked the beginning of the end for Bernie Leadon, who hated their move toward a more rock-oriented sound.
One of these nights.
The Bee Gees' Jive Talkin' was inspired by the sound their car made crossing a bridge in Miami. They originally called it Drive Talking, but changed it when their manager pointed out the disco potential. Think someone else would enjoy these musical memories? Well, share this video with them. And if you're loving these stories, give us a thumbs up and join our community of music lovers by subscribing. Hamilton, Joe, Frank, and Reynolds hit #1 with Fallin' in Love despite losing their original Joe, Joe Frank Carollo, before recording.
Baby, baby, falling in love. I'm falling in love again.
They kept his name because they thought changing it would confuse their fans. Casey and the Sunshine Band's Get Down Tonight almost didn't get recorded because the record label thought it was too different from their previous sound. The guitar sound was actually created by recording a solo at half speed and then playing it back at normal speed. Glenn Campbell's Rhinestone Cowboy came to him while riding a bus in Los Angeles when he heard Larry Weiss's original version on the radio.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
Campbell identified so strongly with the lyrics about a struggling performer that he immediately knew he had to record it. David Bowie's Fame was created with John Lennon during an impromptu jam session. The iconic Fame vocal effect was achieved by Lennon playing with the tape speed during mixing. Neil Sedaka returned to #1 with Bad Blood, featuring Elton John on backing vocals. The collaboration happened after Elton signed Sedaka to his Rocket record company, helping resurrect his career.
The woman no good, no how. Thinking, baby, the blood is bad.
These stories are too good not to share. Hit that share button and tag a friend who needs to hear these incredible behind-the-scenes tales. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into music history. Elton John scored again with Island Girl, though he later admitted he wasn't proud of the lyrics. The song's controversial subject matter about a prostitute in Jamaica raised eyebrows, but didn't hurt his popularity. Casey and the Sunshine Band returned to #1 with That's the Way I Like It, a song that was almost never released because the band thought it was too risque. The record label convinced them by promising to market it to clubs first. Silver Convention's Fly, Robin, Fly had only 6 different words in the entire song, possibly the fewest of any #1 hit to that point. The German group proved you didn't need complex lyrics to top the charts. And the year closed with the Staple Singers' Let's Do It Again, the theme from a Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier film of the same name.
I wanna do it again, do it again, do it.
Curtis Mayfield wrote and produced it, marking a successful transition from the group's gospel roots to mainstream R&B. 1975 was a year that proved music could cross every boundary: age, race, style, and genre. These songs topped the charts because they spoke to something universal in all of us. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more years to explore, and trust me, the stories only get better. Share your favorite memory from 1975 in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.